Yeah. Yeah, and but also by the end of it, I'll share all the resources and you can read up on it. Like all of this is in the notes as well. So I'll give you the resources for each and the answers for the open questions as well. All right. Next question. Ranking question. So I'll just like give the order here, and then we can have a bit of a chat around it afterwards. So this is also something that Karina was really, really, really emphasizing during the Awaken seminar. And the most important thing is always the person. So the person on the bench. And she was literally saying, if you, palpate the person and then have to think about what they're doing, it's a disservice to the person. The moment you go in your mind and need to decide, have them sit up, because if they lay down, and especially for an external, it shrinks their world very fast. So if you're not sure yet what you're doing, just have them sit up for a moment, think about what you're going to do, and then put them back on the front again. So person is always first, or the energy. Yeah. So D is first, then energy and E state. And what I mean by this is when you look at the person and interact with the person and palpate the person, and you really ask like, okay, reveal yourself, right? You look at what's the energy state. So what's the overall energy state of the person? Is it poor? Is it low neutral, rich, or maybe super rich? And also, what's your energy state as practitioner? Then after that is actually the triad. Now, for some of you, there might have not been that much emphasis yet on the triad, but there will be on the next seminars, and especially on the Awaken seminar. But the triads, so that's behavior, behavior, structure, perception, is really a way of interacting with the person in the most authentic and energized way for them. So that's why it's so important. So if you approach someone not according to their triads, they can actually go very fast in more of a defense posture. So you can play around with that actually when palpating. So palpate in a structured way and just watch the person. How do they respond? Does it like light them up or does it shut them down? If it shuts them down, it's probably not the one that you want to use. Same thing, you can put them in a more smooth way, so very flowy. And that's a sign of more behavior. So if the person responds really well to you palpating them more fluently, then start with that. If you palpate the person and you just pause for a moment and experience them in space, and then move and pause again. And how did they respond then? Do they really start to breathe when you actually pause and just observe for a moment? And that's probably more a sign that, okay, you need to start with perception with this person. So that's really why the triad is so important. It literally can, decide if an entrainment is going to be energized or not energized, or be from their authentic state, to say it like that, or defend, or if it's going straight in defense. So this is really where you create rapport with the person. So we got person first, energy state, triad, and then we have the seasons. So next after you've done your palpation and everything, and sometimes you can already pick it up by linguistics, what's the seasons you're going to work with? So what's the primary, but also what's the season you want to integrate with? And we always want to have an integrate because that like adds energy to the system. What's the source of energy that you have available? So all of you have done transform now, so really, really encourage you just to make it a habit, like always look for where is their energy, so what can you integrate with. Then next, determine the intelligence. So actually, you know, after the season, we want to be more specific and see, okay, what's the actual intelligence we're working with? Is it bio, emotion, lower mind, etc.? And then actually, gateways are important. To determine the gateways, you do have to know which phase it is. But after you've determined the phase, you forget about the phase, because we do not want to categorize a person into a phase, because that straight away collapses the amount of possibilities into one reality. So we never, and this was different before in the old network, there it was all about the phase. But it's really, you know, like if you decide this person is a phase 3, it, you know, it collapses the amount of possibilities and opportunities for reorganization. And then the last thing is the contact. So we very much believe as chiropractors that our holy hands make all the difference in this person's life. But that's not true at all. It's actually the least important, the contact. It's just there to seal the deal and make it, you know, happen in real life. But the real entrainment starts actually with the person. They are the center point of everything, and the person and the energy, actually, they are the primary. So any questions on this, actually? Because this is pretty important.
That's interesting.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
you say Kina.
Sorry, we were talking at the same time. It was interesting because I had everything the same except for gateway and triad. I changed triad and gateway.
Okay, yeah.
For some reason.
Like, and that's also, I guess you haven't done like an awaken yet, probably. So, you know,
because also Toreri talks about the freaking gateway all the time.
Yeah, I mean,
how important it is.
Important, but you know, if you entrain someone through a strategy that's least energized, it doesn't matter what gateway you use, or actually you probably won't even fight them. So if you approach a person with structure and their structure brain, they're not even gonna reveal their gateways because they're in total defense.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
Can we repeat the order, please?
So person, energy state, triad, seasons, intelligence, and then gateways, phase, and contact.
All right.
Yeah.
Maylin, did you also have a question?
Yeah, actually, that was my question. The order, the last bit of the order.
Sorry?
That was my question, the last bit of the orders. So I got it answered.
Okay, great. So this one, let me just give you the answers. That's a bit easier on this one. Question 8. So for phase 2, oh my god. For phase 2, it is B for the upper cervical phase 2, and D, that's the lower phase 2. B and D. 2, so for phase 3, it's number E, sacrotrapezius ligament.
Yes.
Number 3, phase 4 is C.
Yes.
Phase 5, flexion extension is A, coccyx, and D. So quite a wide range. And then phase 5, lateral bending, is C and E, because phase 5 lateral bending is a combination of phase 3 and 4. All right. So again, 1 point for each correct answer. Open question. And let's see. Someone walks into your office with a severe bio challenge. How will that show up in their life? Name different qualities. So how about one of you just goes ahead and names a bunch of different ones, and we just go through it together. Who wants to share? Nicolette, do you want to share?
Yeah. So I said they present with, well, no breath, like lack of breath, high passive tension, probably some pain.
Yeah.
And yeah, pain actually caused by trying to avoid pain.
Yeah.
Non-energized survivor.
Yep.
Being frozen.
Yep.
Lack of something, and probably also not able to experience emotions.
Yeah. Yeah, very good. Any more things, like how does it, because we have a very good, Nicolette mentioned a lot of good ones, how it shows up in the body. Do we have some more examples of how it shows up in life? What is it that they will try and do?
They will be living a life of trying to survive the day, just having just enough amount of energy to make it through the day.
Exactly. So there's a high need for what?
High need for certainty.
Yeah, high need for certainty and stability. So everything they will do is try to create stability and certainty. Anything more? Is it rational, pre-rational, post-rational?
It would be pre-rational, and there may be sort of like a fragility or a weakness or a collapsed posture.
Yeah, yeah. Because bio is very much associated with the metabolic energy, the metabolic state, creating homeostasis, which is all about creating stability, and also more the actual physical functions of the body. So especially actually respiratory, but also cardiac stuff. So if there's a lack of bio, usually the person can have, real health challenges. There will be an ineffective baseline cardiac rhythm. So, and also like lack of like respiratory rhythm. There's a sense of a starvation of energy. So, like usually person shows up very much in like need to protect their energy as well. And yeah, high need for certainty, stability. And when there's an unenergized survivor or defensive survivor, it really downsizes your life to make it just through the day. So you really, narrow the system to really just you and really try and conserve energy like that. So it annihilates opportunities, thoughts, emotions, passion, creativity, love. All of that doesn't exist because, when you're frozen and just trying to survive, there is absolutely not enough energy for anything like love or creativity or passion. So that's also a good sign, for yourself when you don't experience any of that, or you are with a person that doesn't experience any of that. It'd be like, okay, maybe this person is actually experiencing some challenges in the bio. And seeks consistency as well. Any other things that haven't been mentioned that you're like, this is really great example? No? Did we cover it?
They might be really focused on like what their dietary intake is, or they might be like really sensitive to the environment and trying to protect themselves from, I don't know, it could be EMF or gluten or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Almost like a bit of an obsession with trying to control, you know, those basic human needs.
Yeah.
All right, shall we move on to the next question? So now, same question, but what does it look like if a person actually has an energized bio? So maybe Maylin, you can just name a few things that you had.
Yeah, so I have is more breadth to the system, or is you see that it's breadth to the system is like an optimal blood pressure and heart rate variation, and heart rate is they experience more connection with the body.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I also wrote that they have more joy in life. I don't know if that's exactly for more energized in the bio. That's for all intelligences, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, but definitely more energy, you know, because
Yeah.
like bio links so much with the actual metabolic state or physiologically. So they will experience, you know, like way more energy in their life, and probably also in the body, much more connection with the body, like you said. Anything else?
No, that's what I wrote.
Okay. Anyone else has some other things to add?
Yeah, I also said they're probably not so dependent on food.
Yeah.
Like what you mentioned, or like not so picky about what they eat, their diet and all of that.
Yeah.
And also sort of a different experience and timeline. So also with what Matt was saying earlier, as in you just kind of live to survive, and when it's energized, you actually got this like more space and like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So the timeline of Survivor is really like seconds. Like you need to, everything needs to be done in a second. So when there's an energized survivor, there's actually more energy available, right? Because they don't continuously have to be aware of, you know, just like obsessed about how to try and survive and protect their energy. So all of a sudden there's enough energy to make it through the day, and they even have energy left over for other things now. And with that as well, an energized survivor means that it does, you know, respond or goes and survive when it's appropriate. So when it is appropriate, you know, that those subtle biological cues kick in, or when, you know, you need to react to the environment fast, it happens. However, afterwards, the body is able to go, you know, back to, again, not staying in this freeze state, but actually continuing, or like go back to, you know, more of an energy rich state. Anything else, Matt?
I was going to say like an athlete, a professional athlete, or you know, someone who's built huge amounts of wealth or like focused on cash flow or business. They can be qualities. I mean, it can be also someone.
All right, Matt, you were saying?
So if someone's got a challenge with bioenergy, if they come in but they appear strong or they're an athlete, that can be someone that's really, really fueling it. So
yeah,
It's really
fueling their biointelligence. So someone that's like, you know, often someone who has a really severe challenge survivor or biointelligence they tend to be like some of the wealthiest people in the world because they actually fuel it really, really, really well. And like a professional athlete is often bio-challenged.
So it's like their biggest wound or challenge is really becoming their gift.
Yeah, and then being an athlete is probably very like, they have a lot of consistency and stability and discipline, and
Yeah.
which they probably need if you're challenged, no?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, and also like the life force, it really links more to, you know, Mother Nature and stuff as well. So it's like you're actually more, when it's energized, you're actually in tune with the rhythms of life, the rhythms of nature. Sorry?
Instinctual, instinct.
Yeah. And yeah, this is all still on a pre-rational level, right? Did I have anything else written down? Yeah, sustainable function in reaction to the environment. So, and also organization of cellular function and biochemically constant expression. So quite a lot of options here. I kind of lost count by how many points you can get for these things, but
Hundreds.
hundreds exactly. All right, the next one, the faces. Did anyone know this one?
I think so.
I had a guess.
I didn't get this.
I'll have a guess.
Yeah, I think I got it.
All right. Shout out. Whoever's first.
Military stance.
No, that's phase 4.
That's
Is it? Yeah, okay.
We
Is it
put
that they cross one leg over the other, like sitting in a thinking position?
Exactly. It's like the thinker statue. So it's like this and like this. So like or sometimes even the other direction. I couldn't even do it, but yeah, like this. So phase 5, C2 apex is like severe lateral bending tension. And yeah, it's really one leg crossed over the other and like this. And it can show up both with even legs and short leg. And but usually if it's a short leg, it's like severely short. And Karina actually at this seminar, she said, even though there's a short leg, you do actually entrain this person as if it's even legs. So you still do C2 on one side, sacral tubers on the other. And she's like, you only entrain a person on the same side in this particular phase when this person is in like a severe health challenge. So she's like, in my office, nobody will ever have this. You can have a short leg, but I'll treat nobody with unilateral phase 5. Only when I see people in the hospital, because she's also a medical doctor, right? I'll probably see people that, you know, need a phase 5 C2 apex done on the same side. Because they're in like, you know, cardiac arrest or severe respiratory issues or whatever else, you know, they have going on. But only people with a severe health challenge, you address this phase unilaterally. Otherwise, you always do it crossed. This is the only exception.
What's the name of the posture?
The thinker. It's a statue by, I forgot the name of the guy. I'm a bit shit with names in history. It's in the notes as well. So, next question. 2 different types of waves. So I'll just read it out loud. So it is the respiratory wave, the somatopsychic wave, that produces temporary instability, and the respiratory waves produce a greater depth of stability before or after instability. So the somatopsychic wave, that's the wave that goes a lot deeper than the breath wave. That's the one that produces a temporary instability because it destabilizes tension patterns. And the respiratory wave produces stability. And that's very much needed because you don't want the person leaving in instability, especially not in these times in the world. So always make sure that you bring them to a higher level of instability. Stability. And when those two happen at the same time, that's when it's called the edge of chaos. That's where magic happens. All right, so when can you make an occiput contact?
Could you repeat what was the what happened after, before or after?
Instability. So your answer should be somatopsychic wave, instability, breath wave or respiratory wave, stability, and then again instability.
Before. All right. Okay. Thank you.
So next question, when can you make an occiput contact? So I'll just say it out loud. So occiput contact is always when it's a phase 1 with a short leg, and the short leg has to be on the same side as the dominant occiput. So in the first few visits, when you see a person first time, you usually don't really know yet what their dominant occiput is. So you just, as the person gets more energized, every visit you just palpate their occiput and see which one actually is more energized, and that will be their dominant occiput. And then in future, when they come in and they have a short leg on that side, you can make a contact on the occiput. And really, really make sure that you start doing that because it's a really valuable phase 1. And also because you can do a lower mind, really great lower mind entrainment between sacrum and occiput. And it's very important actually, because that's when you have that showing up and there's an opportunity for doing that type of lower mind entrainment, really take that opportunity, because it's very rarely, in any other position when you get that great stretch and elongation and communication and oscillation between 2 points in the spine. So it's really awesome. Patricia was actually saying on the last Transform seminar that that's something you really want to do with kids that are, between 5 and 10, kind of when lower mind develops and they start to develop a scoliosis. If they then show up with, this a chance to do a sacrum occiput contact, it's really amazing to do that, and actually can prevent scoliosis, in their future. So because you get the elongation of the spine, so really add that to your toolbox. It's really important. All right, so purpose of the iliac crest move is to drive the which wave?
Respiratory?
No, the somatopsychic gauge. Because in upper mind we're working with the somatopsychic wave. So we drive it through the chest and spine, and what do we add this time?
Stability.
Exactly. So for an internal, actually, like usually, in the upper mind entrainments, we start with the clavicle stroke, which is really to add energy to the system, but it also adds instability. And sometimes if you have an internal on the table, they need a bit more stability. So, throughout the entrainment, you just want to do a couple of times like an iliac crest move, just to add that level of stability. Whereas for an external, usually they value more instability. So there you can, go for it with the iliac, with the clavicle stroke. So it's okay to do that a couple of times to add energy to the system.
So that's instability, clavicle stroke.
It's more like adds energy.
Energy.
Also, yeah, a bit of instability. There's more energy. And yeah, also with the iliac, oh no, sorry, I'm already thinking about the next question. So an upper mind entrainment, which maneuver adds more energy to the system. We just said that. That's the clavicle stroke. So if the, person is laying on the bench like this and it's like a corpse, first you enhance your energy state. So you want to make sure that you are actually in transform or awaken if you're in awaken entrainment. So make sure that you're in that space. And then usually the person already starts responding, and then you do the clavicle stroke. And that really, it lifts the chest and it starts to engage the third oscillator, which is the heart rate. And in upper mind entrainment, it's not yet smooth, the oscillation between the third oscillator and the gateways, but it's starting to get there. So it's mainly to add energy to the system. So now come the lot of questions, or how do you say, a lot of answer questions. So who can name the 4 types of pain?
The pain of avoiding pain.
Exactly.
The pain of not managing or not controlling your circumstances. The pain of not making progress fast enough, and the pain of not sharing your gifts.
Nice. And do by any chance you know which each pain, what intelligence or influencer it is associated with?
You go.
The first type of pain of avoiding pain would be the biointelligence. The second type of not being able to manage or control circumstances would be sort of more like emotional lower mind. Not being able to not reaching your goals or making progress fast enough would be upper mind. And not being able to give or receive your gifts would be more of a soul awakened pain.
Yeah, absolutely. Avoiding pain, it can also bridge a little bit into like lower emotion. So when it's very much the sense of like blaming the environment for, whatever it is that you're experiencing, that's also very much a way of avoiding or experiencing pain of avoiding pain. Sweet. Very nice. So here is a very long list, but I'm curious what sort of things you are having. So what are outcomes and objectives of network spinal care, or we could also say reorganizational healing, and what are objectives that you can be holding when in training, and name as many as you can. So shout out.
Coherence.
Coherent, yeah. Ease.
Absolutely.
Integrate.
Integrate is a little bit more of a tool, but yeah.
What about seasons?
So seasons, phases,
Intelligences, phases.
they're all tools. They're not objectives.
What
would you like to what would you like to see happen?
More
like a more coherent spinal neural integrity.
Yeah, exactly.
More energy.
With that, actually, Nicolette, that's a really good one. And you want the subsystems to actually be interacting and be interacting efficiently. So you want the congruent interacting between the passive, active, and neural system and emotional motor system. Don't need to talk about that. That's 4th system.
And engaging the gateways.
Yeah.
Obviously the ones that relate to that phase.
Yeah. And what's something specific what you would like to see with gateways when you get into more transform?
Oscillation.
Exactly. Oscillation. And what's some questions you could be asking yourself, during an entrainment when you watch the person?
Yeah, is it the right intelligence that's responding? like gateways that match the phase that you're working with?
Mhm.
Is the
Yeah.
breath wave going through?
Yeah.
More flexibility.
Yeah. More adaptability, especially. So some outcomes that I think are very important that you always need to have, or like what Karina was saying, the one objective of network spinal care that is always there is energizing the person. And also enhancing the body's ability to self-heal and self-organize. These you can always have as outcomes and objectives with care. They're literally objectives of care. Then questions that you can be asking yourself before you even start an entrainment is, what's the current energy state and what must it be? That could be a great outcome and objective as well. Then what's happening right now? That's kind of what Nicolette said. What's happening right now in the entrainment with the body of the person, with the person, and is it energy efficient? If the person is moving all over the table and you see somewhere that there's energy blocking, then that's not efficient, and that's not energy efficient, and it can build up tension. So that's when you maybe want to reposition a little bit, or maybe you need to do the contact again because it's the emotion that's engaging and not the bio, for example. And something that's very important for externals, also for us as practice members to add energy, is what's novel. What's novel with this person? What's novel in this entrainment? What's novel right now? So Karina would literally be shouting across the room like, focus on novelty! Externals here, what's novel? Whenever the energy would drop. So yeah. And then something, you can ask the person when they're just sitting on the bench before the entrainment is, what would you like to see more of? What are you claiming? And that's something that they can have as outcome. Is it, advancing health? Is it more intimacy? Is it more focused attention? More playfulness at work? More curiosity? Whatever it is, right? So what adds energy to the system? Also for them, and have a bit of a chat with them about it. Then another outcome or objective is promoting a practice member's self-awareness of the body. So yeah, body connection. And also, I think, one of the most important ones is you're serving the person. The energy is the hero, not you. And we as chiropractors, huh?
And magic.
What about
And
magic?
magic. Exactly, yeah, magic. Oh yes. It's an upgrade of life. And I think NetworkSpinal is really the freaking best approach that happens. It's the most energy efficient, most advanced, and latest technology that of my awareness that can do this. There's no other thing that does it like this, where you're really honoring the person to do the work, kind of, and the person to reorganize. And it's hard because the whole chiropractic profession is built around the chiropractor being the hero, or the adjustment and subluxation being the hero, and all of a sudden here is the energy and seeing the person as a soul. So it's a very different paradigm, and it takes practice over and over and over and over again. And also at the seminar, we all fell into the trap of energy neutrality and thinking that we were doing the entrainments, even the most seasoned practitioners. So, just be aware of it and don't judge yourself for it if you forget about it, because that's going to bring the energy down even further. So just ask, I'll have some questions ready or some tools on, how you can add energy to the entrainment. So next one, not the last question, but the last one's easy. So let's have a bit of a chat around this one. What are differences between restorative healing and reorganizational healing, and maybe someone can actually start off by sharing what is each. Who wants to start off?
Give it a go.
Someone very keen? Yeah, go for it, Matt.
So restorative healing would be someone presenting with symptoms, and as a practitioner, doctor, professional, it's taking sort of a hero-victim approach, and it's looking to take them back to their prior minimal state to restore balance, to effectively take their pain away. Whereas reorganizational healing is seeing someone as perfect the way they are for the amount of energy they have available in that moment, and that everything that they're presenting with is just an expression of the amount of energy available. With more energy available, they will think different thoughts, have different emotions, have a different experience of life. And whatever they're experiencing, it's an opportunity to reorganize to more, a higher level of coherency, a higher level of life. So with reorganizational healing, you're not fixing the person because they're not broken.
Yeah,
it's a completely different culture of care, of healing.
Yeah. That's really great. Can you give some examples of what would be restorative healing?
Pretty much everything. It doesn't matter whether it's medical, whether it's a doctor, whether it's an acupuncturist, a naturopathic, whether it's a traditional chiropractor. It's the consciousness of they're seeing someone coming in with a problem. They're seeing the patient firstly as a patient, but as someone who's broken, and they need to be fixed. So it really is pretty much all traditional healthcare paradigms.
Yeah. Well, that's really good. I just wanted to show this. It's a nice example. It's in one of Donnie's papers. Left patient would be more of a, restorative paradigm. And again, they're both paradigms. It's not necessarily about what's wrong or right. It's just two different cultures, two different paradigms. And one sees people as a patient, as a problem. It's disease and pathology centered. It doesn't see any opportunity from disease either. So it's really, or from pain or symptoms. And yeah, people are trying to fix it or get rid of the disease rather than seeing whatever the disease or pain or gift is as a opportunity or a gift or a calling for more. And Karina, what she was saying as well during the seminar is like, she's very clear on this on the first consultation. So she's very clear with a person that's coming in to create the awareness, and ask if they come in for just pain. She really asks, what's something you want more of? Because there's not enough energy in getting rid of pain. It doesn't allow for evolution of the system or for reorganization. Taking the pain away is, bringing you back to a state that you were before you had pain, actually the state that you were in that created the pain in the first place. And she's like, me as a practitioner, I will not I can't actually even take pain away. It's not my right to do so, because the pain is there for a reason. Like the pain, it's a survival mechanism of the body, literally saying like, hey, Nicolette, pause. Something is up, and you need to actually have a look what's going on and change. So if we were to take that away, we wouldn't honor the body. And I think, it's really, the field is primary, the energy is primary, and the hero, not the practitioner. And what Matt was saying as well, everything is an experience of the energetic in that moment. So whether it's cancer, Parkinson's, illness, or anything else, it's really a calling for more and calling to reorganize. And the reorganizational healing, it's actually more of a collaborative type of care as well, where the practitioner, the person coming in makes a conscious choice for more in their life. So yeah, I can share the paper on this. It's very worth reading through.
Also, like, the disease is the cure.
You mean reorganizational?
Yeah, the symptom they're experiencing is the portal and the calling of life for them to actually reorganize to more.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, exactly.
Something needs to change.
And it's also like, it's really like reorganization relates to the increasing ability to thrive. Even when the environment is maybe becoming more demanding, but it really allows, your body to interact with the ever-changing environment, whereas restorative healing is changing the environment to fit your weakened body. I mean, I think even B.J. Palmer said that, or D.D., I don't really know. Excuse me for my poor chiropractic philosophy skills. So last question, or was there any questions on this question? No. Let's keep going then. So the last one, what move was this? What season and the intelligence, and what the purpose of the move? Anyone?
Extension something.
Extension positive.
Yeah, very good, Sebastian. Extension positive. And what season?
It's upper mind. It's later transformed.
Yep.
Upper mind in EI.
Yeah.
And the purpose is giving some stability.
No, the stability is for the iliac crest move.
Also, I don't know.
So what are you really doing when you go under the person or with your hands underneath the person or on the back? What?
Some fuel.
Sorry?
Is it some fuel? Giving some fuel?
It's not exactly fuel, but it does.
Right.
It does sometimes feel like it. The locations where you touch is usually, it feels like fuel.
Is it resonant? No.
What's the purpose? What happens when you do the move?
It moves.
Exactly. Where does the person move to?
Helping the wave?
Yeah, exactly, Kine. You're on the right path.
Helping for oscillation? No.
No, it's something with the wave.
Something with the wave.
Oh, is it making deeper the wave? More
Yeah,
in the canal, more in interior.
Exactly, it drives the wave more anterior. So in upper mind, we want the wave to go through the neural canal. So this move really allows for this, extension of the spine, allowing the wave to go more forward. Because we want to have the wave go, going through the heart in this entrainment. Sorry, it's just behind the heart. It's getting ready to go through the heart, which will be early later.
Okay.
Sweet. There you go. So I'll email the PowerPoint. Here's all the papers and like
with the answers.
Or no, The answers are like in the comments. Like I wrote, like maybe you can see, I wrote notes on the side, so you can see
Ah.
pictures. So yeah, I'll make sure to share it with the notes or something, and the links. All right. So is there like any questions, any thoughts? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Was it helpful?
It's
Not
very
helpful?
helpful.
Yeah, very helpful.
Very helpful.
Something you'd like to see more of?
Yeah, I do.
It wasn't a yes or no question.
Trick question.
What is something you'd like to see more of? More quizzes? Or
Yes.
yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I think this was a really great way to get some new perspectives and also see, you know, like what are we already focusing on a lot, or, you know, what's already maybe going well, and then also to see where's still a gap and like
Yeah.
where's there still more to focus on. And I think that's actually really, really inspiring.
Yeah. Was there anything for you guys specifically that, you know, when doing this quiz, where you were like, wow, that's a bit of a gap for me, or that's something maybe I wasn't aware of at all?
Yes, I feel that especially when we have to find the words to describe outcomes, or what was it?
Okay.
Explaining. For
Oh.
me, was more the explaining. So this is for me my challenge. I would like to have more of question like this to challenge me to answer, because I feel weak, kind of weakness. So thank you very much. I really like it.
I hear you as well. In the beginning, it's a bit awkward. It's completely different linguistics. And then it's a bit of a mindfuck, because when you work with, you know, practice members, nobody understands the network linguistics. So then you need to translate it back into normal language again. Anyone else?
It's so cool that we were able to join. And I'm actually amazed. I wasn't aware how much alchemy is in network.
It's like
wow.
getting more and more, like,
yeah,
you know, the whole approach during the practicum, the awaken practicum with Karina, was really like person first, energy first, energy state first, especially also for you as practitioner. And you know, it was really uncomfortable, that practicum. Like everyone got shouted at pretty much, but because, you know, you got shouted at pretty much straight away the moment you go into the minds, whether it was just discussing a little bit with the person next to you and just becoming aware of how often you go and drop a little bit into the mind to think this or that, and how much of like a disservice that is for the person, because it straight away drops the magic out. And, you know, again, this just takes practice. And also, you know, this is also calling for you to, when you're at home by yourself or just with a friend, just know the technique by heart. Like just learn it. And it's maybe a little bit boring, right, to learn the gateways and the levels of the gateways, but the faster you learn the technique, the more you can focus on just the energy state and the person. So, you know, the approach is really secondary in this new network. The approach comes last. But, you know, as students, it's pretty hard, because if you just start to learn network, you know, to say like, okay, approach comes last, it's, you know, I need to know the faces, right? And you do, but do that when you're at home, like learn them by heart. How does it look like? What does it feel like? Like work together with a friend, you know, what's the tone of a phase 3? How does it show up in a person? Like, what does it feel like? What's the person saying, you know? And Lars did a really great video on this that's on YouTube, explaining the consciousness of each phase. And it's really worth a watch, because, you know, just being aware of that as well, it adds so much perspectives to your entrainment. And always stay curious, because you only, you know, the moment you think that you know everything, that's the moment the energy drops. So stay curious and always want to realize that you're not enough, and that's a gift to know that you're not enough. All right, guys, anything else? Anything for you, Malin? You're looking very serious.
I'm writing down what you just said. It was very well said. You're not enough, and that's actually a gift.
Yeah, because I mean, as an external, you'll never feel enough anyway. So.
Yeah. No, I think it was really good. I liked how it makes it a bit more interactive with the quiz. You need to think a bit more, not just sit there and listen.
Yeah.
I think that's a good way to learn as well, and also to see, what we talked about, your gaps and what can be more into focus, like what you need to focus more on. It's easier to see it when you have something interactive than just listening.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, that's so true. And honestly, I realized when making this quiz, I'm like, okay, this is actually like, I think it's gonna be helpful. Just having that more interaction.
Yeah, that's good.
Cool. Yeah, so I mean, also if you have any suggestions for the calls, I think like I won't be able to do next week the call, and I would say we just call it for this year, because everyone's probably leaving for Christmas as well. But for the next year, let's write in the group if maybe another day suits better, maybe an evening, so more people can join. And also any ideas for topics or like a different, layout. Do we want more quizzes, more interactive things like this? Just share ideas, because I just want to do what's helpful for you. And if it's boring to listen to a talk, then we don't do talks. So yeah, we just want to see what's most beneficial for all of you.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna wish you a very happy Christmas.
Oh, Merry Christmas, and thank you for organizing.
Yeah, thank you all for joining. It's
Happy Christmas.
It means a lot.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, everyone.
Yes.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, guys. Thank you, Martha.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for joining.
See you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.
Oi.
And don't forget the magic.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Much love. Thank you. See ya, Kina. Bye-bye, girl.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.